Hello everyone, Maurice and welcome to Tanks Invest. We talk about investing, finance, pressure development. For today's video, Ethereum Zone. The investment we talk about today will be Ethereum ticket ETH. First, just want to say happy Friday, everybody. Hope you have a great week so far. With respect to this morning, around 8:30 a.m., Ethereum is currently trading around like the $2,058, up about 0.82%, right? In respect to the equity market, we have a major catalyst that will subsequently have some anti-correlation effect to crypto market. With respect to the job report that came out from the US Labor Department on its June report on the job market on this Friday morning at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. So as an investment professional, I actually have a subscription with Bloomberg. So I actually compiled the report and did a little bit of a synopsis into what's the high level capture of the message that we try to convey from this report, right? So with respect to the key metrics that we want to identify, firstly is the change in the non-farm payroll number, okay, which is the number that a lot of people, especially investors on Wall Street, focuses on. That the actual number was 850,000 versus 720, which is obviously beating expectations. So that's number one, is a great catalyst onto propelling the equity market go up. And also with respect to the main number that came out last month, it revised upward to 583,000 job into the circulations of the market. With respect to unemployment rate, 5.9% versus 5.6% expected, and with respect to May, 5.8%. So kind of comparable, kind of hovering around the same level, so kind of neutral on that front. With respect to average hourly earnings month over month, it's kind of flat, 0.3% versus 0.28% expectedly. So it's kind of trending around the same spectrum. So nothing is another neutral one, let's just put it that way, right? With respect to the average hourly earn year over year, again, it's the same, 3.6% versus 3.6 expected. So overall, I would say we are definitely leaning more of the positive spectrum onto the equity market. So I would see some buying pressure today in the equity market, which is logical and foreseeable, which obviously would have some anti-correlation effects into the crypto market, which Ethereum is going to be a victim to that, right? Also with respect to, remember, today's the weekend affectation, is Friday, and tomorrow's a Saturday, right? And also this coming weekend on Sunday is the July 4th holiday, right? So we might see a little bit more of a red pressure coming. So I'm going to go through a technical analysis to see how we could risk mitigate going forward and dollar cost average, logically in that spectrum, so we can mitigate both risk but also, generate the alpha that we are looking for. So stay tuned, stick around, let's make some money. Analysis for Ethereum ticket ETH. Just take a look at the Ethereum price level right now. We are kind of fluffing around the same level that we were identified earlier, like the $2,050 level, up about 1.31% right now. So we're kind of trending according to the consolidation zone that we've identified so far based on my previous technical analysis video that I've identified the line right here, right? So let's take a look at the equity market real quick with this, more of the neutral but with a higher spectrum of positive job report that we saw today from the US Department of Labor. Let's take a look, right? On SPY, you can see that we are leaning more propensity to go up a little bit right now, with this like mini green candle right here. Despite being overbought on both the RSI, but MACD did cross recently, so we should see a little bit of a leap up going forward. So I think what I think would be logical to foresee the equity market to happen today because of this positive report, we should be seeing some buying pressure from the market open 9:30 all the way until noon, and then people start being like, oh, it's the weekend, let's secure some profit, and then we could subsequently sell off from there and then kind of neutralize to back to more of a neutral zone, because ultimately the report was positive, right? If you talk about the top number, the key metrics that we talked about, right, the 820,000 job that was created, it's a good number, but it's a neutral number. It's not like a number that knocked it out of the park, right? So it's a fair number that subsequently obviously would drive some positive pressure on the equity side. Nasdaq, relatively the same. I keep saying this, like MACD's extremely stretched. If you look at the line right now, it's extremely stretched. At the same time, RSI is highly overbought, so I do see some sort of a correction specifically for NASDAQ, which is very prominent at the moment right now. So definitely watch out, if you are investing into NASDAQ. So let's take a look at the Ethereum real quick. You can see that we have some buying pressure a little bit ahead of the market open. And this is mainly driven by a couple of different catalysts. We have some pause in the application earlier this morning, but it's kind of just reminding us with respect to the summit that's expected to occur coming up. And also with respect to the stimulus check, I believe we got some pickup on the fourth stimulus check that's expected to arrive by the end of the summer. So that's something that will be obviously a market catalyst to drive some buying pressure. So with respect to like what I see, in just the near term, right? Because I want to look at this in more of a tactical perspective in the near future. So knowing the fact that we have this positive report that came out today, well, again, more neutral, not like extremely positive again. We should see some buying pressure on the equity side as the market opens, and that will kind of create some drag effects down to the crypto side, which makes sense. However, with respect to the normalization zone that we will be experiencing going forward as we hit around noontime, I think the equity market will kind of neutralize a little bit and then subsequently go down a little bit and will kind of push up a little bit at the same time. However, as we know that the weekend affectation is, we are within the weekend affectation right now, and the weekend affectation doesn't occur starting from like noon or like 3.5, 4 hours before the equity market closes. That affectation doesn't begin around that time frame, right? Because that's when people start to wake up on both the West Coast, but also the East Coast. People start to be like alert, like, okay, I need to be starting to look at securing profit. I need to look at the scope around the market, like where should I be trimming ahead of the obviously the long weekend that they're going to be having. So the real normalization zone should be occurring around that time frame. So I foresee actually, because of the fact that we have going to be a relatively positive equity day, at least half the day, because again, we have to kind of adjust that by 50% because of the weekend affectation for the equity market as well, that we should be kind of neutral today for Ethereum and Bitcoin. I wouldn't be surprised, based on that logic, right? And we might see a little bit of selling pressure after we, close up the equity market side, right? And then the weekend should be, with a great contingency on no more black swan events that will occur, right? We should see some selling pressure, and we should be kind of hovering around like the $2,050 level, which wouldn't be, surprising to me if we just kind of stay flat from there up until Sunday, and then we have more of a leap pump up all the way back to the 2,150, right? Do we see a 1950 in the near term or breaking down the 2,000? I think that's really difficult, because you could see that the RSI is very bullish right now. You could see we are leaping up again. And this is basically a form of the market normalizing or neutralizing. But I think the neutralization have a little bit more room to go down, despite it showing some peak of bullishness coming. And the bullishness is kind of supported by obviously this cross section that we had here on the 28th, right? But you can see a little bit of curvature going down right now, right? So I do see a little bit more of a bouncing off of the $2,050 level, kind of hovering around this, because again, right, the 2,000 level is a very difficult level to crack down or to break through. So we broke through now. So we are going to be kind of struggling around this area here, right? Contingent on, again, right, no black swan news that we'll be hearing, right? So how do we risk mitigate going forward, right? I think a good level to buy right now would be the $2,050 level, right? I think if we get down to 1950 in the near term, I think by tomorrow, that's a great level to buy it, right? Do we see anywhere below 1900? I think that will be very unlikely. I foresee, again, right, the summer is basically 1 week and 1.5 weeks out, right? A little bit less than that now because like the time has passed. That we should be seeing some sort of a rally ahead of the summit and then sell off. So we might get back down there after the sell off, depending on the debates that we'll be hearing. The world debates between Bitcoin versus Ethereum and other altcoin, or Jack Dorsey calls it shitcoin, if you may, right? So we are in the mercy of a lot of media affectation going forward. To risk mitigate is to be thinking logically and not buy on emotions and not be, influenced by the, frankly, the articles that we read, right? Really read between the lines and really, use your detective spidey sense, if you may, right? And look at the numbers based on the risk profile by identifying the key resistance level to buy. And that's the best way to risk control, and also at the same time provide you with some sanity at the same time, because people oftentimes don't have the numbers to quantify their risk profile, and they oftentimes, without guidance or have a right compass to look at, they will lose money because of using emotions to trade instead of using logics to trade. Let's recap all the numbers that we have in the TA. With respect to the current level, the $2,050, definitely a great level to DCA. In my opinion, because it's a very strong level that we have been consolidating for quite some time. Because again, it's a flat number, the $2,000 number is a very hard wall for us to kind of crack down. So I don't foresee us to be actually cracking down below this level, contingent on obviously no black swan events that will occur this weekend, right? Despite the positive job report that we've had today, I don't consider that to be an extremely positive one. So it's kind of neutralized, but leaning more of the positive spectrum because of the top key metric that we've identified, the 820,000 jobs addition, right? And with respect to attractive level, 1950, that will definitely be an attractive level, but I don't foresee us to be getting there. Again, contingent on no black swan events that will be occurring. The weekend affectation might get us there potentially, but I'll give that maybe a 25% likelihood because of the job report that we've had today. So we might have some anti-correlation effects coming from the equity side. But if we get there, it's a great level to dollar cost average, right? Like I keep mentioning, it's the level that you risk mitigate and control your bleeding or how much you're making by, maneuvering through the risk profile. And 1950 is definitely a great profile to get into. 1850, I don't think we will actually get there in the near term, especially not during this weekend. It'll be very, very unlikely because it will allow us to basically crack through three resistance levels to get there, and it takes a lot of effort to crack through these resistance levels. So 1850 definitely no. 20% corporate adoption, 9,800 if you buy at the $2,050 right now, 4.8 times your money. Alright, so that's it for there. Respect my technical analysis on Ethereum ticket ETH. Hopefully this is helpful in giving you more clarity and transparencies around how we triangulate with job market catalysts, and also with respect to the weekend application we'll be experiencing going forward on identifying the risk profile mitigation methodology so you could best execute your price level to generate that return that you're looking for. Hopefully this is helpful, and feel free to ask me any questions if you have any questions. I'm always relatively responsive. Have a great rest of the day and look out for my next video coming up. Take care. Bye.